Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Do We Know Them, episode 203. See my shirt? Merrier with a martini. I wanted to make a martini so bad, but I didn't have time, so I'm drinking a White Claw.
Good runner-up, I guess. I apologize, you guys.
You have failed us 2 episodes in a row.
I have.
We won't allow this one more time.
Can I just blame Janet?
Sure. I mean, I'm always down for that.
She's kept us pretty busy the last week, but I need to find either in my piles of clothes or just I need to get a new one.
I went to TJ Maxx and just went to town. They have quite the variety. One of
TJ
mine literally has tinsel on it and ornaments.
Oh, I love
Like
that. I think
3D.
one of mine had tinsel on it too. Maybe I should just wear one of my ones I already wore.
It was a bit much. I was like, this is ridiculous. And obviously, like, you can't even wash it because, like, the tinsel will just rip off. So
wait, I forgot.
You know, it's
I
a one-use
ordered that
thing.
other one that you gave your input on.
Yeah. When does that arrive?
I think today, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, period. That's like Amazon style. Didn't you just order it 2 nights ago?
Yeah, but it said they process same day and then it's in California. So I think it should be here soon.
Period.
You guys are going to be big fans.
Well, guys, we have quite the episode to get into because one of our topics requires a lot of our brain power. And what do we not have?
Brain
That.
power.
It's hard. My brain was actually, like, embarrassingly enough, like, hurting while I was reading this. But I did request that our researcher dumb it down for us and give us the girly pop, definitions of things because I'm dumb. But then also, when I looked through everything, I was like, okay, I think I got it. Like, period. I really think I got it.
No, but like when Jesse first was like, oh, we should cover this, I was like, do you know what they're talking about?
I will just say, if I get anything wrong, like egregiously wrong, okay, call me out, fine, whatever.
Likely.
But like, if it's just a tiny little thing and you're like, well, that definition is not what okay, I mean, give me a break. You know what I mean? I'm just asking for some grace here because we're going to be talking about the Hawk Tuah meme coin. And when it comes to cryptocurrency, I'm an idiot, okay? I'm kind of dumb and I've never owned it and I don't know. I mean, now I kind of know what it is, but yeah, it's kind of complicated.
Well, speaking of Grace, that's our other topic is Briana Chickenfry and Grace and the tumultuous friendship situation they have going on.
Yeah.
It's wild. Things have escalated.
Yeah, it's really fucking crazy. And it's interesting because normally I ask you which topic you prefer, but we do have an order because they both like transition into each other. It's so weird.
Oh.
You'll see. Yeah.
So we're starting with Hawk Tuah.
We sure are.
Great.
Okay, so
Love it.
Hailey Welch is the Hawk Tuah girl. Do you know the meme? You know the meme. All your brothers and like dads were grossly joking about it when it came out. And you're like, why are you? What is going on? Did that not happen to you? Oh, you don't have a brother.
Or a dad.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
I just like can't believe that everyone thought it was that funny.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing. You get me?
It was literally, I think my brother had sent a meme, one of my straight brothers, had sent like a meme that was like a Hawk Tuah parlor or something. And he's like, yeah, like this is so like low grade humor. Like I just did not do it for me, not even once.
Well, that's the thing. I just like didn't think it was that funny. Like if that went viral, I feel like, oh my God, my college friends, we would have gone viral all the time.
You would have caught me outside of a club when I was
Right?
like 18, 19. Things would have happened.
I don't know. To me, it just screamed like drunk college girl. It didn't seem that funny. But here we are. Months later, and she has the Talk Tuah podcast, and she has a lot of followers, but I gotta say, I'm still confused on who they are.
I think it could probably range. Yeah, it's probably a lot of men, I would say, but then also maybe like college girls like her, you know what I mean?
Maybe.
She's a little bit awkward, and we kind of went a little bit too long about her 2 episodes ago. But my opinion on Hailey Welch is obviously she's someone that didn't plan on becoming famous and then did. And I personally don't believe she has the chemistry or
Here we go again.
pizzazz to like make it in this industry. Like I just feel like there's no way.
I think the disconnect is that when she did the Hawk Tuah thing, she was blacked out. Like she's not blacked out anymore.
Yes. Yeah. We're
So
actually
it's
going to
just
get into the
awkward.
origin of that in a little bit because the guys who interviewed her, they've had some battles. There's been some discrepancies, some threats of legal action. I mean, it's a whole thing.
From who?
Her threatening, allegedly, legal action against them.
That seems weird. They're the reason for your career.
Considering that's the only reason you have everything. Yeah. But anyway, let's go back to what's going on right now and why we're talking about her. So there was a launch of a meme coin, okay? And if you don't know what a meme coin is, it's a cryptocurrency coin that is basically like, it's bullshit. Like someone puts it out almost as a joke, which my first thought when I heard that, I was like, Well, then why would anybody buy it? That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't know it's called a meme coin.
It is. Like, she actually even calls it a meme coin. But there's a few things. It's so funny because, like, the dumbed down definitions are, like, highlighted in pink. It's like, okay, Elle Woods, go off. But basically, there's a few terms that we need to know, and it's really not as complicated as it seems. So cryptocurrency, most people know what that is, but, like, it's a decentralized currency that is not
it's
like government
digital
issued.
money, and they keep track of it on something called the blockchain.
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the next
word.
term. Blockchain is essentially your public wallet that, from my understanding, you do not have a choice to make not public. And basically what it does is it keeps track of all your transactions. So if you sold a coin to this person, all of that's going to show up. It's going to show you selling it, and it's going to show who you sold it to.
It's basically so there's like full transparency within the money market.
Yeah, I guess. And I mean, it makes sense because it's kind of like if they didn't have that, that would be so seedy. Like, it would just be so sketch. And I feel like that would give people the opportunity to, like, privately scam people. Like, right now, she's publicly scamming people allegedly. So, like, we're able to see that because it's public.
That's what's so wild is that, like, I feel like this isn't like an uncommon thing. It happens enough that I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard about it too.
And the fact that, like, CoffeeZilla, like, he's the one that exposed her this time, he's done that to several people now because everything's public. So I don't understand how these people think they're going to get away with it.
Yeah, so I think it was a few other people as well as CoffeeZilla. People were keeping their eyes on it because when they heard that Hawk Tuah girl, Hailey Welch, was coming out with a meme coin, it's kind of a red flag of just like, maybe this isn't the best fit. I don't know.
Why?
Full disclosure, I have been contacted before to do meme coins. Have you?
I mean, not that I'm aware of, but I don't check my email, so.
That's true. You probably have been reached out to. Yeah, I have been reached out to, and they'll cite these meme coins and be like, we've done coins for this person and that person and this person. I'm like, well, good for you. I want nothing to do with this. What are you fucking talking about? Like, this just seems like such a random fit, and I can't believe she agreed to this.
And I don't get why or how you come up with new ones.
So the thing is, I don't know, like, as far as like value or like how much value a coin holds, I think it depends on how many people own the coin. And I think that's what is inherently valuable about it. I could be wrong about that. But there have been successful meme coins in the past. They didn't have longevity like Dogecoin, if you've heard that name. Dogecoin had like brief success.
Didn't it recently, like, it had tanked, but then recently it blew up again?
I think so. And like, it's famous because like Elon Musk, for instance, remember he would tweet about it and then it would go up, and then, you know, there's different reasons why a coin would go viral and then gain traction and become actually valuable. But in reality, meme coins, from what I looked into, they're not really invested in for a return. Some people may hope that it's like a Dogecoin and be like, oh yeah, that'll happen and that'll be great. But in reality, most people just do it for like shits and giggles. And like, it's an entertainment thing and it's like a novelty thing, not so much like a valuable investment with their money.
Yeah, because the people making it aren't like really like in the cryptocurrency sphere. Like, it's influencers, not like crypto bros. You like, usually there's people behind them doing it and they're just the face of it.
Yeah, one that I'm thinking of right now is Logan Paul's coin. I'm trying to remember the name of it,
Dink,
but he had
Dink
that
something.
Yeah, something dink. But he had a whole song and it was so stupid. And like, it literally was, it looked like a joke, like an SNL skit.
Ding dong, you're my favorite coin. I want you to take on my face and take a drink on my chest. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
And I don't fucking get
but
it.
also I remember that like they talked about it several times because I know like that guy Mike promoted it too. And I feel like they like said it's a joke, but also like they promoted it like it was very much not a joke. Like I think they said it was a joke afterwards.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And then so they'll have influencers be the face of it, like with Logan Paul and like with the Hawk coin. But then there's also the other option to pay creators like Aiden Ross has self-admittedly scammed people. He got paid millions of dollars to promote a coin and then literally got on live and was like, I hope y'all didn't buy that coin. Like, obviously that's like stupid.
Chat, by the way, that MILF token shit I did a while back, I already told you guys, don't buy that shit. I got paid a bag to do that shit. Like, I don't give a fuck. I hope none of you guys actually bought it.
So he wasn't like the face of it. It was like he was just endorsing it.
Yeah, so it kind of just ranges in how they present themselves, but the understanding is that they're kind of bullshit and they're novelty. And if you get it, don't expect to like become rich off of it type of thing. Because my first thought was, why the fuck would anybody buy this?
That's what I've been wondering. Like, I think that's my disconnect is like, why are there so many coins under cryptocurrency? Like, why would you have other ones underneath it?
That's when my brain
It
starts
doesn't make sense to me.
hurting.
How do you keep making more and why?
And how does any of it have any value? Can you cash out at any time? I'm scared. I don't know.
It makes zero sense to me. But like they do put real money, like the real currency, into it, right? Like that's how they buy it.
No, yeah, I do think so.
Like it feels like it's fucking Chuck E. Cheese or something. Where it's like you're putting way too much money into it and then like not really getting a prize that's worth it.
My dad was telling me a few days ago, he's like, oh, you know, your cousin is like doing really well. Like he has like 10 Bitcoins. And I'm like, that sounds like not a lot. Like what? Like, I don't know what that means.
I also feel like obviously there's a whole world of people that do it, but I feel like years ago when it first got introduced, they acted like it was going to be like the next, like you go get coffee and that's what you pay with. But it's like, no one does that. That's not a thing.
I don't think Bitcoin has hit Apple Pay. Like, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon or ever.
I don't know if I would say.
I understand wanting, do I? Actually, before I say that sentence, do I understand?
No.
Like wanting a decentralized money situation where the government isn't the one who decides like how much they're printing, because the more they print, the more it loses value. Like, I understand very little about that. But like,
I feel like a lot of people look at it like how like the banks control your money. Like if they all crashed, then you wouldn't be able to get your money out.
There have been times where like I want to take out a large sum from my bank account and like they don't let me, or like they flag something and I'm like, bitch, that's my money. I put it in there. Like I understand not wanting banks to control everything because it's like, I don't know, a little bit scary.
But I also don't understand. Well, I mean, I think I'm just too stupid. So.
No, absolutely same. And I bet you anything, the same level of knowledge that we have of crypto is the same or more than Hailey has.
Significantly less, I think. Literally, some of the things I've heard her say on her podcast, I'm like, she didn't know who Kim Jong-un was.
Oh.
Hailey, when the hell did you have Bobby Lee on the podcast?
What?
That's Kim Jong-un.
Hey, it was far away in my...
Is it Photoshop?
I don't know. Did you have him on your podcast?
Oh, I don't think.
Do you know who that is?
I don't know who he is. Who is that?
He's the leader of North Korea.
Yeah. I knew he was something big.
Oh, and I actually done a Zoom in North Korea a few weeks ago. Huh.
Oh my God. That's concerning.
It's like the people that do like those Jimmy Kimmel things where it's like they ask them questions and they just make them look stupid. That's like her whole podcast, I feel like.
And I don't know if she thought she was like some sort of marketing genius, but like, okay, so I think she released it early December, like December 3rd or 4th. In November, she started like teasing that she was like into crypto. It was kind of hilarious because you know what it was giving? Shane Dawson pretending he liked makeup. Oh my God, how iconic is that? How iconic was that? And not everyone eating it up. Oh my God. Just pretending you care about something so you could sell it is so funny to me. Because to me, it's so obvious, but I think that people like genuinely believed it.
Feels even more unbelievable than that though.
So this is a tweet that she made on the 13th of November. And it says, "Thanks, Mr. Saylor. You changed my life."
So after I saw Michael Saylor speak at the Bitcoin conference, I have decided to start putting some money into crypto, and I just want to say, oh my God, thank you so much, Mr. Saylor.
Convincing.
Bitcoin conference.
Allegedly, those do exist. However, does she seem like someone that just had her life changed?
Literally, this is unbelievable.
There's a reason we didn't really cover Logan Paul's coin and things like that.
He seems like he would be into crypto at least.
Well, yeah, he would be into crypto, but at the same time, for me, the interesting part of all of this is the full package. It's who's doing it and then what they did.
Yeah.
And her doing a crypto meme coin is hilarious to me. It is not hilarious all the people that lost their money. Although I've seen the sentiment of just like, well,
who bought that?
What'd you expect?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a little confusing to me.
I would have to assume that the people that were purchasing coins were not like her core followers that didn't have money to like pay their bills. Like I would imagine it's people who have money to spend and that don't really care if they lost it.
You know what it's giving? Do you remember also Logan Paul when he did that game? What's his name? CoffeeZilla exposed him to for this.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
I just remember it was like people saying that they like, I put my life savings into this. And I remember being like, you put your life savings into a game that sounded like a knockoff of Pokemon? It wasn't even like they didn't even battle or anything. It was just like you collected animals. That's wild.
Yeah, it is. And I would assume that there would be some people that would spend money they didn't have on this. I just can't assume that it's the majority. And I don't know also, like I know it hit $500 million in market price on there. I don't think that means people invested $500 million. Like, I don't know how it works, but I don't think it's that.
I don't know how much info we have on this doc, but that was the whole thing is people were investing, or they weren't even investing. They were being given the coins ahead of time and then they were selling them afterwards. So it was like the illusion that there was more money involved than there was.
Yeah, that's what a rug pull is. Like a rug pull scam is when the people who created the coin, either the creator themselves or their team or whatever will purchase a large amount to inflate the, value of it. And then once people actually start investing money into it, they pull it all out and sell it, and then it loses value and tanks. So that literally happened in this case. It shot up like immediately to $500 million, market value, whatever again that means.
Which again is insane for like the Hawk Tuah coin.
Yeah. But before we get into the specifics of who sold what and all that stuff, this is more of her shilling her new passion for meme coins.
Okay.
So I've been in the meme trenches for a while, and here's what I got so far in my wallet. With my busted ass phone.
Oh my, who's filming her? Does she ever, like, that is the epitome of brand deal.
No, literally, her team was like, hey, you got to post this. Like, it's, it's
like
close to
her
the launch.
sitting there and someone else filming her and like her, like, no.
Also, just a side note, her description on Twitter says queen of memes. Do not even.
Just because
How are
you
you gonna say
are
that?
a meme doesn't mean you're the queen of memes.
No, literally, how can you say that when Trisha Paytas walks this earth? Like, that is disrespectful.
Well, it's just like, it's weird. Like, again, who gave her that? Because I don't believe she came up with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. I feel like there's people behind the scenes pulling all the puppet strings and just telling her what to do. And she's like, okay. And
Literally.
I'm like, who are these people?
Oh, it couldn't be
'Cause they're doing a
clearer
bad job.
when we get into the CoffeeZilla like Twitter Spaces era. Oh my fucking God. It is reminiscent of the Deaf Noodles Twitter space, honestly.
Oh God, great.
And it's very clear that she doesn't know what she's talking about. And then it's very clear that when her business partners start talking in this Twitter Spaces, because for some reason they did, that they're full of shit and they're seedy and, in my opinion, scamming the fuck out of everybody. So I don't know if this was a
Including her.
malicious thing on her part, or if she's literally like got tumbleweeds in there and just didn't know that this was going to happen.
Like, with peace and love, I actually think that that's it.
I know. No, same. Surprisingly enough, though, this was a random tidbit. She's had Mark Cuban on her podcast. Mark Cuban?
I told you when we talked about her last time, the people that went on, I was like, who got them to do this?
And she even asked him that if she had a meme coin, if she could give him some. And he was like, yeah, I'll share my wallet with you. She also started giving away meme coins. I don't know what the fuck that means.
Okay, y'all, drop your Solana wallets. I'm giving out some meme coins for free. Coming to you December 4th.
Those were the promos she was doing.
Oh my God, they're just so fake.
Literally. Drop your Solana wallet. Ma'am, I don't know what the fuck that means, but apparently
Literally,
it says here,
she doesn't
a Solana
either.
wallet is a device or application that allows users to interact with the Solana blockchain. So I guess it's just your wallet.
Yeah, but like, where did Solana come from?
Yeah, I don't know. I just have no clue. Then Hawk Tuah coin, no, not the Hawk Tuah coin, just the Hawk
Played
coin.
the one before. She ran into TMZ on launch day.
Yeah, I don't know the legitimacy of this.
Launch day. Woot woot. Hi, TMZ. Say hello to my community. Hi.
To my community.
My community.
This is rich.
And then it was live.
Not really. It's quite poor, I think, now. But
Oh my God.
My Hawk meme coin is live.
oh my God, literally
That's
someone
it.
is coming
That's
in
it.
and going, Hailey, it's live. We need to record the video now.
She records a maximum of maybe 30 seconds, but that's a pretty long video for her. And then she only gives it one go. She does not re-record, you could tell.
Oh, no,
This
no,
got
no.
20 million views, which is crazy.
Yeah, but there's also over 2,000 quote tweets.
Yeah. Then she started getting called out because, again, your wallet is public. Okay. So people can see it. Right after it shot up, I think on the same day, like on launch day, she started selling. I don't know if it was her, but it's definitely someone that has access to her wallet, which is public. That started getting sold and she started getting called out. So then she puts out this response and it says, copy and pasting. Okay. Can you make it any clearer that you don't know what the fuck is going on here?
Who did that one time that they did a brand? Was it Scott Disick maybe? He like forgot to delete like the...
Shut the fuck up. That's so good.
Oh yeah, but like literally, like did she mean to put that part or did she...
You know what? I'm not sure on that one. I think she
Undetermined.
did. I think she means like, it's not me trying to tell you this, but anyway. It says, copy and pasting, Hawkonomics. Team hasn't sold one token and not one KOL was given one free token. We tried to stop snipers as best we could, which snipers refers to individuals or automated bots that attempt to buy tokens or coins immediately when a new cryptocurrency is listed. And their goal is to purchase as many tokens as possible before the price rises, often in order to sell them quickly for a profit. So basically they're saying it's not us that like gathered all of those tokens quickly and then sold them. It was like a sniper. And we tried to stop that, but we just couldn't. And what they're saying here in this part, it says, we tried to stop snipers as best we could through high fees in the start of launch on on Meteora, AG, whatever. Fees have now been dropped. So what they did was, I guess they started charging high fees for people getting those tokens. And that became an area of people calling them out after, because people were like, well, not only did you sell, you're the ones, like you're charging these fees to stop snipers, but you're the sniper. You know what I mean? You're the rug puller.
Yeah.
So who got those fees is what we're going to get into with the Twitter spaces. It's very cringe. So then this guy on Twitter, his name is Zeus Let's Fucking Go. Well, it's LFG, but I think that's what that stands for. Anyway, it says the team hasn't sold one token. He's quoting her. And then he shows her public wallet, which shows that she sold
I don't
hundreds
think
of
this is
thousands of
hers.
dollars.
I think it's the coin in general.
A few moments later.
Just to make us understand a little more, we're gonna watch the very beginning of CoffeeZilla's video, because I watched part of it before and he like definitely gives an overview in the beginning. So if we explained it wrong, then he can also correct us.
I don't understand how the wallets are supposed to look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, I don't understand how to prove that it is someone's wallet. I'm confused.
Today we're breaking down the Hawk Tuah scam, exactly how it happened, and I'm going to confront the people behind it. Well, I did last night, and let me just say, it didn't go very well.
Happy to answer any
I have questions. I have questions. I'm raising my hand. Hey, guys.
What CoffeeZilla?
Hey, this is one of the most miserable, horrible launches I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, then why the fuck are you on?
Profiting from the rug pull, I think it's relevant.
We didn't pull a rug. I don't know what you're trying to say. It's not true. That's defamation.
Stop.
You're saying
Do the math. Do the math.
Defamation. You're saying that we pulled a rug. There was no rug pull.
3%.
You're defaming our character.
Are you not gonna let me talk? You just talk over me. You talk over me.
I'm hearing bullshit.
Yeah, these people were completely unhinged, unwilling to take any accountability, and we'll talk more to them in a second. But I want to break down the Hawk Tuah scam. I think people are confused with this kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to start with the big tweet that kind of set it all off. That would be this by Bubble Maps, which showed 96% of the supply was controlled by the team and was being sent out to a bunch of smaller wallets. The implication being that some of them might be dumping on you. Pretty quickly, the Hawk Tuah girl came in to copy and paste what her team told her to say, which said, team hasn't sold one token and not one key opinion leader was given one free token. We tried to stop snipers as best we could through high fees at the start of the launch. And so you see their awful tokenomics here.
I'm dead at the response. Just says, you're kind of fucked. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, people say that she's like going to jail.
Yeah, they said she needs to talk to a lawyer.
Sold one token, and then they post obviously a screenshot of a lot of sells from insiders who did not have to pay. You can see on the bot side, there's nothing. And then on the sold side, they're making a lot of money. So how did you get free tokens? Well, you were an insider, right? And I just want to show you exactly how the Hawk Tuah team is sort of lying by omission here when they say the team hasn't sold one token. And that's because they pre-sold the tokens, guys. They sold them to a bunch of investors with a pre-sale, and then those people were unlocked immediately upon launch. So you can see that with her tokenomics here. It says Hailey's locked for 12 months, but you can see the strategic allocation is fully unlocked immediately on token generation event. Now, I spoke to some people who bought into this pre-sale. They say they got in at $16.69 million total valuation, which means that if they sold out the whole 17%, you're looking at about $2.8 million raised by pre-selling these tokens. So it is essentially a lie to say her team didn't sell tokens. Well, they pre-sold them, and then those investors dumped on your fans. That's the problem. Because Bubble Map says we found 285 investors join the Hawk pre-sale. That's about what I saw as well. 89 wallets sold 100% on launch. 47 sold over 50%. Anyway, you can see in total, $3.3 million were sold. Again, as you'll see, on mostly Hailey Welch's fans, or Hawk Tuah girls fans. And I know what you're thinking. Who falls for this? Well, unfortunately, with situations like this, they're not targeting crypto bros. They're mostly targeting, like, actual fans who've never been involved in, the crypto space before. They don't know any better. And you're going to hear the guy behind a lot of this say that explicitly.
That's kind of weird, though, because what are they investing? Like $100 or something? Like, do these people have thousands or tens of
That's the
thousands
thing,
to invest.
and why would this be what like really inspired them to get involved in crypto?
I literally don't understand, but I do appreciate CoffeeZilla. Thank you for your explanation, because that did
back to the wallet thing. So it's not that, I think, shows the sales just of the token in general, and it was showing that there were a ton of sales, but like they hadn't bought them, so they just like had the coins.
Yeah. Okay. So it's basically not proof. It's just pretty suspicious looking. Why did these people, they were given coins and then they just sold immediately? That seems sketchy.
Well, and that the strategic allocation was that it made up 17% of the coins,
which is more than Hailey
and that
has.
they were allowed to immediately sell it while the rest of the people weren't. So they could be like, no, we didn't do it, but like other people did, and they probably got a kickback somehow.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. This is her business manager that CoffeeZilla gets on Twitter Spaces with, and he posted a bunch of shit just talking about how the main piece going around is the 96% cluster seen on bubble maps, which is what CoffeeZilla just said, which shows Hawk tokens being sent by the deployer address to the related addresses according to the tokenomics that was published. The other 3% was seeded, blah, blah, blah. Hailey's team. Wait, he doesn't explain that? The rest of the tokens are distributed into the different wallets as according to the tokenomics? That's not a word. Please stop it. Wait, so literally
there's so many words here that I don't understand.
Yeah, no, same. But I literally think he's just explaining what CoffeeZilla just explained. Like, yes, we know Hailey has 10%. She didn't actually sell anything. It's not her wallet. But like, he's not trying to explain the fact that 96% clusters were tokens being sent. But you know what? I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, to be honest.
Yeah,
go watch CoffeeZilla's video. We're just here to just hear this Twitter Spaces, to be honest, because it's quite something.
Hey, this is one of the most miserable, horrible launches I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, then why the fuck are you on?
I've been tracing it on chain for a while. You guys generated over $1 million in fees while y'all's fans got rug pulled. There was snipers, but there was also insider trading directly linked to y'all's creator account. What are you guys doing?
No. That's not true.
That is true. That's a fact.
No, it's not.
Well, it's a fact, and you can see it on chain. So
yeah, we know. We trust me. We were.
We know. Trust me. I've seen it. Like, he obviously seems like such a douchebag crypto bro who just
not the like mysterious anonymous, like no profile pictures, no.
What is that? Literally, what is that? That is kind of scary.
There. We can answer that.
Okay, go ahead.
You know about the insider trading?
No, there's no insider trading. That's
how much did y'all get doing a pre-sale? How much did y'all make? And y'all made millions on fees from this little scheme. Who's making millions of dollars on fees from this rug pull?
That's not a scheme.
Who made the money? You haven't answered the question. Who made the money? How much did Hailey Welch make of that 1.8 million?
It's a foundation. No, I don't own the foundation either. A foundation in the Cayman Islands.
A foundation in the Cayman Islands.
Shut the fuck up.
That's literally what he just said. I may be dumb, but I know what that means. It's
an
a
offshore
foundation.
account where it's a tax haven. Like, I'm sorry. Are you going to be in the next Panama Papers?
Profited over $1 million was just made.
I'm telling you, a foundation.
Like, what the hell? This is the worst tokenomics I've ever seen, and it is a scam.
Wait a second. Is tokenomics like a widely used term? It must be like crypto. Oh, that's kind of embarrassing that I said it wasn't a real word. I take it back.
Well, no, but then they change it to be like Hawkonomics. Like,
yeah, all of it's very cringy.
That is unreal. How he's like, it's a foundation, as if foundation also
I don't
like
own it,
making it sound like foundation. I feel like is like what you would call like a nonprofit,
a charity
or something.
Yeah. First of all, if they did do like a 501c or some shit like that, that's even worse. Like, you guys are really trying to scam the system. But how does he think saying that you have a foundation that you don't own, you just like have access to it in the Cayman Islands? Like, that's wild. That I don't know why he said that out loud. And his name is Doc Holliday. That's not a real name.
Cool. Got it.
But they continue to duke it out.
Who's making millions of dollars on fees from this rug pull?
That's not a scheme. That's the
Who's making fees?
So we can keep this thing going for years. Okay. That's how do you think? There's so many expenses.
Who makes the money on the fees? Someone just made over $1 million on fees. Who made it?
First of all, the fees were there with Meteora pools, and that goes to the creator, right?
Which is who? Who does that own? Who does that belong to?
That belongs to the project.
Who's the project? Who is the project?
Well, the project is over here, Hailey Welch, right? And
how much does Hailey Welch own?
This is Hailey Welch's project.
So she owns all of it.
CoffeeZilla.
I'm just trying to figure out who owns it.
Do you know how much it costs for lawyer fees to create a foundation in the Cayman Islands, to hire directors? You think this stuff pays for itself? You know, this is how you run a project forever, is you have to fund that. First of all, over here can speak to the extensive amount
over
of work
here
and time and
over here is the name of an account that's on there.
I'm
so
literally like, why is
confused.
he describing things so weirdly? Over here
Yeah,
can
no.
explain it. Okay, it's a person.
Oh my God, that's funny.
His explanation is literally giving me when I'm talking to Amelie, and then she keeps asking me, but why? And then I'm like, well, this, and that. But why? And I'm like, well, because of this.
But then you just dig yourself a hole.
Well, you have to like almost start like pretending shit and just like coming up with shit because you're like, well, I don't fucking know. For him, it's kind of wild because what he's suggesting is that what they want is longevity in this project. Bullshit. But then also, he's suggesting that this money all went to lawyers and like operational cost of creating this coin. And if that was true, that would have just been his answer. Simple as that. I have receipts. We have lawyers. This is all documented. This is not a scam. He is saying it so like, oh, we want it forever. Come on.
That's because he's saying it like that because he's meaning like, well, we might not have had all of those fees right now, but like we're going to have them over the course of this entire longevity of this project. I'm
Yeah.
like,
him saying they want to have this
Foundation in the Cayman
forever
Islands.
is so funny. Please stop it.
project. Over here has around 18 people working on this right now as we speak. This is not a small time type of nothing. We're really trying to do something here and not just do it for one day and do it for 2 days.
So who made the money? You haven't answered the question. Who made the money? How much did Hailey Welch make of that million, 1.8 million?
It's a foundation that is running this project.
My God.
How much does she own of it?
It's a foundation. She owns zero of the foundation.
So y'all made the money?
No, I don't own the foundation either.
Who the fuck owns it?
Who owns the foundation, you fucking weirdo? Like,
the hell?
Foundation.
Brother, who profited? Over $1 million was just made.
A foundation that pays people out. And by the way, CoffeeZilla, I'm not asking you, questions that are irrelevant to the most important stuff that you said. Who cares where fees go? It goes to bills.
You heard him right. Who cares where millions of dollars went?
That is insane. You're joking. That just literally blows my mind.
CoffeeZilla, I'm not asking you irrelevant questions. You're not asking him questions because he didn't just scam people with a coin
Literally.
and send all the money to the Cayman Islands.
But he also is saying it's a foundation, it's a foundation, it's a foundation. Then he lets it slip for a second. He's like, it's a foundation that pays people out. Are those people you?
Like, so it's a fake, it's a shell.
Yeah, it's literally
a shell
like,
that pays people.
I just can't believe this is his fucking reasoning. This is insane. Okay, so this part may just be one of my favorite things to come out of the internet ever. So obviously they're having this lengthy, very heated discussion. There's a lot of talk. Notice who's not talking a lot. Hailey. Is she even there?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's funny because, she doesn't own the foundation, so I guess she doesn't have a lot to say.
And also, she knows nothing about what's going on. She's just like, no, what the fuck?
She's like, wait, I don't own the foundation?
But dude, this, I guess she just got over it. She just pops in and this is what she says.
Not for the token price itself, but just in terms of the fact that there's fees that are being generated, there's an actual
Hey
source
guys,
of income.
I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Well, hello there. But anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
The way he is baffled.
Shut the fuck up. I thought you paused it.
No, literally. But also, I'm gonna replay it super quick and just close your eyes and imagine this is Timmy Turner. Okay.
Not for the token price itself, but just in terms of the fact that there's fees that are being generated, there's an actual
Hey
source
guys,
of income.
I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Well, hello there. But anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
She's like a country Timmy Turner. It literally, when I heard that, I'm like, oh my God. It's so animated character coded that it's very confusing to me. You're discussing something so serious, a scam of millions of dollars, and just anywho, I'm gonna go to bed.
In her name. And she is the host of this Twitter Spaces.
She's gotta go to bed.
They're just like, okay. Before we go any further, we have a word from our sponsor, ZocDoc.
ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment.
And she means instantly. They usually book within 24 to 72 hours, and you don't have to talk on the phone, which is amazing. And you can do it for either normal appointments, or in my case, I've done it for an emergency appointment before, and it was very, very helpful.
And with ZocDoc, we're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care, skin care, much more. And if you're not sure what doctor you need to see, you can filter it through your symptoms, and they'll tell you who you need to go see.
And you also get to filter by your location, your insurance, which is super helpful. So it's only going to tell you like who's in your network. It really is great. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments today and go to ZocDoc.com/DWKT to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/GWKT, ZocDoc.com/GWKT. And thank you so much to ZocDoc for being an amazing sponsor of this podcast. He was absolutely just perplexed.
Could you fathom going to sleep when you like are potentially going to be going to federal prison?
You know, I couldn't. No, I really couldn't. But some people don't have the same conscience I have. I must say I've realized that as we progress on this show. Some people just don't give a shit. Like, quite frankly, I think for her, she was fed a bunch of bullshit, doesn't know enough to clock that bullshit, and now she got a good check. And she's just like, well, why is everyone so mad? Like, you invested. Investments are risky. Like, who knows?
And I think she probably just doesn't realize how serious it is.
Oh, no. First of all, if you don't know, rug pulling is illegal. Like, if it can be proven and traced back to her and her team through whatever acrobatics they did to try to cover it, you can get fined, jail time, I think even. Like, it's a scam. I mean, remember Martha Stewart? I mean, that wasn't crypto, but like she sold her stocks because she got insider knowledge that everything was about to drop or something, and she went to fucking prison.
Yeah, and she didn't rat on anyone.
And she didn't.
So it's funny though, because I also wonder, like, does she think, because I do genuinely think she probably had no idea that any of this was happening, that kind of plausible deniability is enough to like not get her in trouble, even though she's the fucking face of it? Like,
being stupid isn't an excuse to be a criminal. Like,
I agree. Do you think though she thinks that being stupid makes her?
I think that she may think that because her intention wasn't to necessarily scam people. Doesn't matter. You did it. Yeah, too bad. But
anywho,
a really interesting little bit. Our research was funny. She did it as like a lost lore section that she started including when it's like things that like we either haven't talked about or it's like been forgotten about. And in this, she found the original guys that interviewed Hawk Tuah girl on the street, the whole Hawk Tuah spit on it thing. They did a whole video reacting to her talking to Briana Chickenfry. And it's like the weirdest little transition into our next topic, but we'll watch it really quick because they're kind of pissed of the way that she sells it. She says like, oh, they approached me, and they're like, you approached us wanting to be in that video.
Weren't they interviewing her friend and then she came up?
Yeah, it was both of them, which is actually, I think, her co-host now on her podcast, the one that sits there.
Oh my God, is it?
I think so,
That makes more sense, yeah.
But this is them. These are the people that made Hawk Tuah girl famous.
I want to go back to the night of it all, the Hawk Tuah video. You're out drinking after a night with your friends. You get asked, what is something crazy you do in bed?
Oh, yeah.
Hawk Tuah. It was funny.
I was being a little bit of a smartass, too. Cause, like, you're going to come up to me with a microphone and ask me something like that? Oh, well, I'm going to Hawk Tuah and spit on it, you know? I don't mean nothing by it.
Yeah, you were, like, actually being serious.
Oh, yeah.
Was there more of the...
She was like eating it up. Like, I felt like she was like being super like...
Well, from what they're about to say now, like she's the one who wanted to do the video. So yeah, it doesn't seem like she was like forced to do it or answer that question at all. She definitely didn't
seem like she felt uncomfortable or like that it was sexist or something.
No.
You come up to her?
You came up to her? I don't think that's how that happened.
No, that's not how that happened.
She most definitely walked across the street. We were minding our business. It was at the end of the night. I had the camera in my hand. We were looking at clips. We was like, man, do we have enough?
Yeah.
It was like, what, 2?
Late as hell. And they came around, seen the camera, and tried to see what's up.
Hold on. You don't want to tell them the real reason why they came over.
They also go on to say that they believe that this is all done for clout and whatever. But what I found super interesting is they show a bunch of DMs between the friend Chelsea, who's the one that's on her podcast now. And this is from when it went viral. And it's interesting because do you remember when Hawk Tuah girl went viral that she didn't publicly go on socials right away?
Yeah. No, it was literally like, where's Hawk Tuah? And everyone was trying to identify her.
And everyone thought that was fucking dumb as hell. Well, apparently this is what was happening behind the scenes. So the friend says, honestly, we were a little drunk and just trying to have fun. It's our fault for running up to y'all, knowing it would get posted. We're not even mad about it being posted anymore. It's just the way you blocked us while giving our information out at the same time after asking to delete it. So I think that they literally were like telling these guys, no, you need to take that down. And when she says information, I think the guy just like tagged them on social media is what it seems like from the rest of that conversation. But they also have other messages that explain so much, because essentially they were trying to like get together to film something else. And then Chelsea, who's Hawk Tuah's friend, said Hailey's lawyer doesn't allow her to film anything. We've had to turn down all interviews, everything. And the guy literally messages back like, well, I don't know if your lawyer doesn't know how entertainment, works, but he's fucking up her momentum big time. Like literally people are looking for her and you guys are just like basically fumbling the bag. She still got a lot out of it, I will say, obviously.
Yeah, but also so did some other people, because I know that, like, I think I mentioned this one time before, maybe not on camera, but that there was some like far right account on Twitter, because Twitter, I don't even really use it anymore. They finally got me. I always get recommended these like obscene, like just the most ridiculous conspiracy theories and stuff, and they're all very far right ones. So I started getting served this account, and I can't remember what her name is now, but she kept promoting Hawk Tuah, and it was so weird. And then I noticed that she was retweeting a lot of an account claiming to be her, and I'm 100% sure it was the same lady, because it was like literally just like constant back and forth, like cross promoting. Other people were making money off her because she wasn't coming forward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it was the dumbest move ever. But again, she got a lot out of it at the same time. Like she still was able to make a career. But I think that in the beginning, people were like, I mean, it was weeks that she was unidentified. And apparently it's because she was like ashamed of what she said and didn't want to be recognized for that. And then was just like, okay, fuck it. But this is the interesting bit that I wanted to share.
Are you getting sued by that industry plan? What we can say about that is it was in the works. They had a litigation attorney contact us about sending a letter. What else would that letter be about? And one of her reps, representation, you know what I'm saying, DM'd us, you feel me?
Directly.
This is from someone named Christian Barker, which is wearing a hat with a CB on it in front of fire, is that? Very professional. He says, I represent Hailey Welch. Please contact me at your earliest convenience to discuss the videos and merch in an effort to collaborate rather than have everything removed. If you have an attorney you work with, please connect me with them. Oh, I wonder if they sold merch saying Hawk Tuah, which is interesting because it's their content. They're the ones who filmed it, and that would be an interesting
but unless they
battle.
trademarked it or something, I don't think.
But yeah, they said that their attorney would be in touch soon. Look forward to working and collaborating with you guys. Although on Twitter, she has said that this is fake news, that she wanted to sue, which again, I don't know if she wanted to sue. Maybe she just wanted to get them to not sell merch or something and wanted to get her lawyer involved in it. But still, it's weird. She also has invited these two on her podcast and they have not gone. So that's interesting. I don't think they're like in super great standing.
I think in general, she just has awful people around her. Like the team she gathered.
I mean, what do you expect? Because she probably got approached by
a ton of people. Yeah.
Everyone in her team is probably someone that approached her just because she was viral, which I mean, inherently isn't necessarily bad.
No, but it was also probably a bunch of slimy men.
Oh, that's literally what it seems like. And I mean, hearing her, I don't know, what is he, a financial fucking advisor? What is it? What was his name? Hold on.
Not a good one. The Cayman Islands, bro.
Doc Holliday. Oh my God. That is so fucking good. I love that name so much because it's so fake. But yeah, she obviously doesn't know what she's doing. So aside from not necessarily being my number one choice for an influencer to watch, in my free time, I will just say I think she's making a huge mistake. Well, has already made the huge mistake.
Several mistakes.
Of trusting people around her to guide her in how this shit works. Like it is something that you have to be just like very reserved with. Even things like, I mean, we have been doing this for so fucking long, and how long did it take us to launch a Patreon? You know what I mean? Like there are certain things that you do with caution on purpose, because when you do it, you want to do it well. And I just think that she's just doing things quickly.
Well, and I think it's also, though, circling back to what you said in the very beginning, that she never expected to do this, I don't think.
Yeah.
So like she never would have, like this was totally by chance. And I don't think she has the foresight, because she's kind of like, well, this is like cool. Like I'll just take advantage of it while it's here.
Yeah.
and then like not really paying attention to the fact that it's not only going to not be here after a little while, but like you're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble.
Well, and there unfortunately are a lot of ways that influencers can scam their fans. There just are. There's a lot of things that you can promote in a certain way that's scammy, even if it's not like inherently a scam. If you're not careful, a simple brand deal can be misleading people and scamming people.
Well, and then I also think it probably plays in that she doesn't really have, I mean, I'm assuming, like this really, like she said, my community in that one video, but it's like,
stop it.
I don't think she has much of a community. She has a lot of followers, but they don't really translate into like people that she necessarily maybe feels much of a connection with.
I can't even pretend to know enough about her community to know if they're like tight knit like that. To be honest, I really
like,
don't.
Who would it be?
I don't know who it would be. I would be interested to see her.
I'm being
analytics.
pessimistic about it for sure, but like she probably doesn't have a huge grasp on who they are either, though, because they're just like with so many so quickly, and it's like, are some people following her as a joke, or some people following her
like hate watching?
Exactly. So
or just
I think that probably plays into her feeling more disconnected and not double checking things maybe as much as she should.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I just think she needs to stop. Everything. Just like literally halt
I was
everything.
waiting for what you were going to say. I was like, stop doing all of this?
No,
yes.
just stop.
Yeah, stop.
Literally STOP, full stop. Just stop doing everything for the moment, because everything you're going to do from this point forward, like you need to be so incredibly cautious of, because now you're entering criminal territory. And, you know, my heart does go out for anyone that was scammed for this, obviously. To me, I don't quite understand it. But if someone genuinely like spent money they didn't have on it, that does suck.
It does. And I think this is a learning process.
Yeah, we can all learn from this. Yes.
Moment from them, or for them. She needs to do what she did to that Twitter Spaces to everything.
Yeah. Good night. I'm leaving. Bye.
Yep. I'm going to bed.
Oh my God. Well, anyway, so going to our next topic, which I wish I could say is, I mean, that was actually our fun topic, because this actually pisses me off
I had a great
bit.
time. This, I was like jaw dropped watching the podcast.
Yeah, it's really bad. We're going to be talking once again about Briana Chickenfry, and we have talked about her quite a bit in the last few months. At first, we were talking about her. Why did we talk about her?
We've talked about her. First, it was the Zach Bryan STD thing. Then it was when they broke up, and we did talk about some of her scandals, because also this one is about her and Grace, her like childhood best friend. We talked about how she had that moment on their podcast where Grace like brings up something that happened to her, and she was S8 in Atlantic City, and then the way Brie then continues to talk about it when Grace is like so not wanting to, and then she very much like victim blames her and is like, oh, little girls, if you're ever trying to hang out with older men, like don't be a good kid and blah blah. And it's like Grace sitting on the other side going, it wasn't my fault, and she's like, no, I know it wasn't, but then she like continues to victim blame her. And then on top of that, the Menendez brothers thing, where she was like, they shouldn't have killed their parents, they should have just ran away. And people were very upset about that, because she said it as if it was like super easy for them to leave. And there was more nuances of that conversation that she definitely was not receptive to. Some of that also comes into play, I think, that I've seen a lot of people bring up now. Because then after that, we talked about that it came out that it wasn't just a breakup with Zach Bryan, that he had been allegedly abusive, and it got really messy. So it's been kind of a roller coaster with her, with like feeling bad for her, but then also separately being like, oh, but she's kind of having some shit takes.
Well, that's the thing with Briana. I think that she says a lot of things that are problematic and has a lot of takes that are problematic. But in general, people were pretty upset about their friendship. Like, I feel like the common theme on TikTok was taking clips from their podcast and just showing that Briana was not a good friend to Grace. It felt like a unanimous public decision that people felt like Grace was the good friend, Briana was the bad friend, and that it wasn't fair to Grace to have Briana around.
Because, I mean, there was the like egregious things like the SA Atlantic City story, but then there's also stuff like people have been speculating that there was some problems with their friendship in general ever since she started dating Zach Bryan, because they were inseparable always. And then all of a sudden she starts dating Zach Bryan, and suddenly it was like Grace was nowhere to be seen, and Brie was only posting with Zach, and it would be like Zach's birthday, and it would be like, happy birthday to my best friend. And I remember all the comments on that being like, oh, that doesn't look like Grace. And it's like, okay, she didn't mean that, but also like people were reading into it a lot.
Yeah.
Then I know, like, even speaking of birthdays, it was Grace's birthday a few months ago, I think, and she didn't even post anything, and she like posted other stuff like she was with friends, and it just seemed like there was definitely some kind of a rift.
I think the caption on that photo photo was like so thankful all my best friends could make it or something. And Briana notably was not in that picture. So that was like the first confirmation that people had that things went south.
Hey guys, I'm a number I'm not going to say anymore. I just turned it. And, you know, birthdays can sometimes, you know, let you down and disappoint you. But you got to remember the people who show out for you and love you and give you nothing but good vibes on your day of birth, because that's your special day and you get it once a year. And it's good stuff. And I don't know if this is my own personal thing, but I usually cry every year on my birthday. But this year, no crying. Nothing but love, nothing but laughs, nothing but giggles. Don't ever let anyone put you down for loving your birthday, because, you know, it's like the one day of the year where you don't have to be sorry for everything. And my mom's in the other room. I hope she can't hear me. It's so embarrassing when people can hear you recording. But where was I going with this? Basically, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for wishing me a happy birthday. You guys are the fucking best, and I'm sorry I haven't been very active in the comments and whatnot and which, but I've been trying to, you know, like, just be chilling, you know? I'm trying to, yeah, I guess that's the best way to say it. So, love you guys so much love, as I say, and thank you so much. I am 20.
But then also she posted with the whole Zach thing saying that she essentially didn't want to say anything. Like it wasn't necessarily something she wanted to commentate on, right?
Oh, well, so that's another thing is that people found out from, I think, Brie, technically, that there was some night on Brie's birthday that they were all, like, Zach had rented a house for her and her friends and family to be at, and that she had, like, gone to sleep early because Zach was being, like, difficult, and I don't know. She then said that she woke up to, like, all of her girlfriends, like, crying because he'd been, like, screaming at them or something, and I guess everyone came to the conclusion, and I don't know how it was confirmed, but I'm pretty sure it was confirmed, that like he specifically yelled at Grace. And Grace then posted later when they broke up, the picture she posted was like her doing like a gun finger pointed at him or something. But like it's been very clear that Grace and Zach did not get along, and Brie has confirmed that. It just came off as Brie really dumped Grace to just like spend all of her time with Zach.
Yeah.
Which people had a problem with because it's like Grace had always been very, very supportive of everything Brie does. And it just doesn't ever feel like it was reciprocated much. And then it felt like she kind of just like dumped her because she found something else.
Yeah, I do think that it was apparent, and we did touch on that in our last episode on Briana. Like it did seem like Briana dropped everything for Zach. Is that super common with abusive relationships? Yeah, it is. You know what I mean? Like you kind of seclude yourself, or they make sure that you're secluded away from the people that you love. And it does seem like that might have been what was happening. I mean, Briana literally would go on the road with Zach and then would film Plan Brie with Grace like remotely, and it was fine. It's just like that's not what their show was. You know what I mean? So I think that over time it just felt like they were drifting apart, and then they would have these like tense moments on the show that were just uncomfortable to watch because it seemed like there was something going on.
I'm doing arts and crafts, and everyone, dude, I started posting all these arts and crafts videos, not all of them, too, and I'm like, people are loving them, and then half the comments are like, dude, you need a lot of healing. It's obvious that this is doing, like, oh my god, man, you need a lot of healing and this is helping, but it's kind of sad. I'm like, oh, what? I was just enjoying my arts and crafts.
I'm confused. What the does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. The internet is a crazy place. Ow. And I'm getting attacked by a cat.
Well, we've got 30 of them.
He's done. He's done attacking me, and I'm just healing so hard, I guess.
Well, you know, you just enjoy arts and crafts and stop reading comments.
Well, I just, like, open them, and they're like, oh, this is so sweet, you're healing so much, you need this, you didn't even know it. I'm like,
oh, maybe that's nice, I guess, I don't know.
Well, what is it? It's like
therapy. I just don't
like,
understand the correlation with wanting to play with slime for the first time in 10 years.
I get that she was in a relationship that he did isolate her from her friends and family and stuff, and that's a really unfortunate side effect of being in a toxic relationship. And I think a lot of the time you want to believe that people will understand and have empathy and be like, oh, I get it. Like, it wasn't you, kind of like you took on some of their toxic traits as well. Right. I understand that it wasn't like you making those decisions. It was you being kind of forced to make those decisions. But I also think Brie at a certain point, and we'll touch on this more after we watch some of the podcast clips, but it's like, you can hope that everyone's going to be waiting for you on the other side. But at a certain point, depending on what you did to them during or didn't, if you just kind of drop them completely, you can't really expect people to all just be waiting around.
That may not be an option.
And just like,
yeah,
exactly. And it seems like Brie doesn't really get that and thinks that everyone should have just immediately been like, I'm so sorry you went through this. We're here for you. And that would be nice, but also it's not really realistic, I think.
Yeah. And especially, I mean, she dated Zach for quite a while. If for over a year, she was being allegedly a really bad friend. And also you have to remember they're working together. So that's hard.
Well, and not even just being a bad friend, but then like being a bad friend while still dating someone that has been horrible to that friend.
Yeah. You just kind of, I don't know, you just get tired of it. You lose the energy to even fight for that friendship, I would imagine. Yeah. But the reason why we're talking about this at all is because there was a series of events that unfolded right after Brie posted an Instagram story that says us looking through all the emails like it's Hinge, and it's her on a video call with her like show producers. And obviously Grace is not there, if you don't know, and I mean, we've kind of already said that, but her and her childhood best friend Grace both hosted the Planned Brie podcast. I mean, they literally went on tour and they dropped a documentary last month about that tour. Mm-hmm. They were very much identified with each other. So you being on a phone call for work and with your producers and stuff, and you know, Grace isn't there, it just like threw up some red flags, especially because people already assumed they weren't friends.
For sure, for sure. And so little backstory on their friendship and how Grace became a co-host on the podcast, because it's obviously called Plan Brie.
Oh, she says it all.
Oh yeah. No, well, she says a certain so basically Brie like got hired at Barstool because she already had built a social media following. But then Grace, I guess, was still like at home going to community college, and Brie will frame it very much like she did Grace a favor. She brought her out to New York. She gave her somewhere to stay, all this stuff. But I think she very much is neglecting to point out that like she wanted the moral support of having her best friend there. She brought her best friend to work all the time because she wanted to work with her best friend. Mm-hmm. And she kind of acts like Plan Brie was this really, really established podcast because of her. And like she did all the groundwork, and then Grace kind of just like got to benefit from like riding coattails. That is so not the case. Like maybe she had followers, but like Plan Brie very much got to where it is right now because of the both of them.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't the same thing it was before Grace. Yeah. Like it's unreal to me, which we'll listen to in a bit. But I'm like, how are you going to act like you just like took her under your, like, no, she helped you get to where you are now. The whole podcast was about you guys and your friendship, and like,
well,
not
I mean, her
just
saying that she built it from the ground up is ironic because she also currently is admitting that if she should relaunch it, it would be with someone else. Like she wouldn't even do it by herself.
Okay. That's another thing, is she started saying that that's what looking through the emails like Hinge profiles is referring to. Apparently they were looking for other talent because Brie kept saying how she wants to give, she is always talking to the audience. She's like, I want to give you guys the podcast that you promised. I want to give you something to watch every week. You're going to replace the Plan Brie hosts? Like, no, start a new podcast.
You have to start a new podcast at that point.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's named after you.
Yeah, no.
It's just unreal to me. I'm like, there wasn't like a super strong concept that you would be able to switch in new hosts and have it be the same show.
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to do?
But then Brie quickly posted and then deleted this, but this is what really started everything. This was an Instagram story, and it's her on an airplane, it looks like. And it says, I miss yapping on Plan Brie, with a sad face. I have nowhere to yap away anymore. I should bring it back, shouldn't I? Which is like, you know, maybe don't post that when people are wondering where the show went. You guys haven't announced anything. Maybe don't post that.
Well, and also then, like, that doesn't imply, because she kind of falls back on like, yeah, I was going to replace the host, blah, blah. That very much is that she misses yapping, so she wants to go back on and talk more.
Yeah. And then she also posted this, which was 2024 Wrapped. I don't know if that's like an award thing, or it says Breakout Creators of 2024, and Plan Brie is on there. And she showed like a bunch of hand hearts, my favorite, and says, working on bringing back some version of Plan Brie, guys. So that's what started everything, because they, again, at this point had not put out a joint statement. It's like us ending our podcast right now and like we don't say anything. And then Lily's like, I really am like looking to do a new version of Do We Know Them? And like, you don't even know what that means because we haven't announced that we're not doing it. You know what I mean? It's just, it's very weird.
Well, and it's because she's very much taking all ownership of it. Like she's acting like Grace was just a guest co-host that like wasn't.
So then Grace replies in a 3-page Instagram story, and do you want to read that?
Before this, Grace had not said anything about Plan Brie. They had apparently decided like months ago, I guess it was in October, that they were not going to do it anymore, but she didn't know anything about this like new version that Brie was talking about, or also that she was going to announce that it was for sure over. Like she knew internally that it was over, but not that it was going to be like public knowledge. So she says, "Hi guys, if you know me, you know I truly hate having to be serious about anything ever, but sometimes you just have to be. So here it is. Can you tell I'm trying to stall even in this weird notes app post? For months I've been radio silent about the status of Plan Brie, and it has killed me to leave you guys hanging." Also, side note, if you look at Grace's comments, most of them for like the last few weeks were, is Plan Brie coming back? What's happening with Plan Brie? Like she was very much like inundated with comments about that and only that. The plan was for me and Brie to put out a joint statement about the end of the podcast. Everything's so weird and unfamiliar at the moment, so I've just waited for the cue to put that out. Seeing all of you tag us in your Spotify Wrapped made me feel a few things. Proud of what we built, nostalgic for all these years, and frankly outright heartbroken that this chapter is closed. But we agreed to make a joint statement, so I replied, cried, and chose not to repost or say anything until it was time. On that same day, you may have seen Briana post that she's, quote, working on bringing back some version of Plan Brie. To give you guys the much needed info you deserve, all I can say is that that was my first time hearing about this. I feel as if it's only fair to share my piece about all this jazz with you now. My favorite part about this chapter of my life was not only all of you, but also getting to work with my best friend. It has truly been a dream job, and I'm eternally grateful for both Briana and Barstool for giving me the opportunity to work on such a fantastic show with an even better team. This last year, I've bit my tongue so much that I shouldn't even have one anymore. I was willing to wait out of respect, but things don't always work out the way you think they will. In fact, they rarely do. I most definitely did not foresee any of this ever ending. I don't think I'll ever fully get into every aspect of how this came to be, but it should be said that although this was not a mutual decision, I'm realizing that in the grand scheme of things, it might actually end up being the right one. I really don't want to be the goofed up person who says things like stay tuned and big things coming soon, because we all know I just mean I'm working on creating another type of the same thing, but more me. That's kind of how it goes. I want you all to know that I'm staying at Barstool, and when it comes to chit-chatting on a weekly basis, I'll be right back. I'm always transparent and honest with you, and honestly, I have a pit in my stomach as I post this, but hey, that's showbiz, baby. I love and adore you guys. See you soon, XOXO.
So that was obviously explosive, like when she wrote it, and then was basically the first person to ever comment on the fact that Plan Brie really is gone. And she also says like it wasn't a mutual decision, insinuating she did not decide that. It was Brie that decided it. That went fucking crazy because people already didn't like Brie and thought she was a shit friend. So now they're like, oh, so now you left Grace.
Wait, but we are leaving out? Never mind. They came after this. Does she have the DMs?
DMs? With whom? Is it this?
Yeah. She was DMing people.
Who, Briana?
Yeah.
No, why?
And being fucking awful. Like literally I was like, oh my God, what is going on? We thought they were fake and then they weren't.
Jesus Christ. Well, oh my God. Briana responded on an Instagram story too. Yeah. And you already know, once it gets to like Instagram story responses, it's so fucking messy because everybody's just emotional and pulling out their notes app and just going to town, and it's just a lot. But she says, hey guys, just want to clear the air on things. Grace, I, the whole team have been well aware Plan Brie has been over for months. Grace and I have been texting back and forth for months, okay, has it been months? About making our announcement video together. But she's been busy with comedy and I've been busy traveling for work. She means she was blindsided when I said I was working on bringing it back, which I was, looking for talent to hold Grace's and I's spots because I felt it was unfair to the listeners to leave you without a weekly listen. Wait, so she's looking for a replacement for her spot?
That's what I told you. I was like, that is such bullshit because she deleted that post that now says that she missed yapping. But also, why would you replace yourself on Plan Brie?
Oh my God, that doesn't make any sense. That cannot be true.
No, it doesn't. And that's because I think she's walking back because she
fucked
all this happened.
Yeah. I started Plan Brie in my dorm room almost 5 years ago and could have never imagined what it would turn into. I didn't want what was built to completely leave you all. As planned, still are working on a time to make one last podcast closing on a positive note for you all. With Grace or by yourself or?
Yeah, like not so much anymore, I don't think. So my opinion when I saw that was like, oh, she's now panicking because, well, and even you can see her there. She's really trying to push this narrative that Plan Brie was like her thing and that Grace was not an integral part of it, I feel like. She very much like, oh, I started it 5 years ago in my dorm. Just because it has the same name doesn't mean it's the same show.
Okay, well, this next part is fucking crazy because this Reddit user named Greenwich Maine said, I originally had shared a Plan Brie ad and spoke on my thoughts towards a drama regarding how I had been a Grace in a situation before, which, by the way, I'm not the first to fucking say something like that on the media. But anyways, she immediately snapped back and I have never laughed so hard. Like, seriously, she sucks. And then she shares these DMs. And holy shit.
Okay, so she's not the only person that Brie responded to after this, because Brie clearly got very triggered by Grace's thing because people immediately did go and like, oh my God, how could you do this to Grace? So this one starts with her saying, or maybe Grace sucks and was a horrible friend to me and horrible to the rest of the team. And maybe I cut her out of my life 2.5 months ago. And I'm not going to say that online. You are right now, girl. And I'm not going to say that online because I would never want someone I cared about to get publicly attacked because I know how hard it is. Maybe you need to look at the bigger picture. Legitimately, people thought these were maybe fake because what the fuck is this?
First of all, that is insane. You're in the, and I've seen this before on the internet. When people go into the DMs of critics, it boggles my fucking mind because you are basically posting this. You know that, right?
I would never say that online. Girl, what the fuck do you think you're doing right now?
Like literally this person doesn't like you, made it very clear they don't like you. And you're literally saying Grace sucks. And it's very contrary to what we're about to watch on the podcast because like she has strong feelings towards Grace. It's very obvious. But to say like, oh, she sucks is pretty fucking insane to someone, to say about someone that was your best friend since you were 10 years old.
She was horrible to the team. Like, oh my God. Wait, this is a better one. So someone DM'd her and said, girl, I'm actually really disappointed in how you've handled this situation with Grace. I followed you since the very beginning and have always supported you, but this is something I can't support. I know there are two sides to every story and you're going through a lot, but she's supposed to be your best friend. You don't treat best friends like this, especially publicly. And Peyton, Josh, and Hannah unfollowing her, gross and cruel. She responds, you have no idea. She's evil.
Oh my God.
Two sides to every story. She's cruel, manipulating, awful. I cut her off months ago.
She was just like angry typing.
Literally,
I'm like, just like bashing the keyboard.
She's absolutely lost it. She's spiraling. Like cruel, manipulating, awful, evil.
I mean, I'm not surprised because she says one line in this podcast, which of course they did a BFF podcast, then covered it at length and literally were like, Grace. Like it wasn't like they were skirting around it. They were like, this is what we think about Grace. Yeah. It was very direct. And you would think that her feeling attacked by Grace's 3 Instagram stories, that they would know that dedicating like a 45-minute fucking topic to it is going to be explosive, but they did it anyway. And I can't even imagine. I mean, a lot of people aren't on her side, I will say.
Oh no,
so
the comments,
really work.
It's insane how much the comments are ripping her apart. One last DM.
Yeah.
Someone said, why did Josh and your team unfollow yesterday? And she said, I'd never speak ill of her online. Oh, again.
You already did plenty of times.
What are you talking about? What do you think the DMs are? You didn't send it by carrier pigeon. I'd never speak ill of her online, but they felt deeply mistreated and hurt by her over the past 6 months. There's two sides to every story. Please use critical thinking.
What the fuck does that mean? We don't know anything about her relationship with your team. How would we?
The person goes, it's just a bad look. It looks pretty horrible to all your fans from the outside. And I've been a writer for you for years. Don't tell me to use critical thinking. Crying, laughing emojis. I love you. And then she goes, well, if only you knew the truth. Internet is crazy and not real. Grace wanted to focus on comedy and end the pod months ago.
How does that make her evil? Like she's not elaborating and is just saying these really, really intense statements. But before we continue, we really quickly want to thank our next sponsor, and that's Factor.
If you're unfamiliar, Factor has America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, and they're super delicious. Even I like it.
And the best part is that all meals are dietitian approved and chef prepared and reheated in just 2 minutes.
Yeah, so you don't have to cook, which is a huge plus. You can do it if you need to save time or if you are like me and just don't cook. And they have 35 menu items to choose from each week, and that also includes like add-ons like breakfast, dessert, juices.
Yeah, and you can even choose from some of their premium proteins like filet mignon, roasted barramundi, exotic.
My personal favorite is the garlic roasted chicken and mashed potatoes because it is absolutely delicious. And I just usually order a bunch of those each week if they have it.
So if you guys want to try out Factor for yourself, you can head over to factormeals.com/50DWKT and use the code 50DWKT to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping.
That's code 50DWKT at factormeals.com/50DWKT for 50% off and free shipping.
And thank you so much to Factor for being an amazing sponsor of this podcast. Anyway, let's get into the podcast because there's a lot of notable moments, but this is the way that she described the online relationship with her friendship, and I thought it was interesting the way that she says this particular sentence.
Also, this entire podcast very much confirms that those DMs are totally real.
Knew that this was the worst year of my life. She knew how hard it was. She knew everything behind the scenes. I remember me and you having a conversation about this at one of Zach's concerts where, like, this is when the internet started attacking me and like they were raising Grace up. Like they only lift Grace up when they're beating me down. Like it's never like they could never just like
it was always attached.
That is such a mean thing to say. Like that's literally essentially saying she doesn't have any redeemable qualities that they would be praising if it wasn't for them to praise it to hurt me.
They're only lifting her up when they're tearing me down.
Yeah.
Like that is actually insane. That's just the most main character syndrome I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, because what she's referring to is that people took Grace's side because Grace is more likable than you. She just is.
It's because people watched her treat Grace like a sidekick
like shit
for years.
Yeah.
Even when they were close and there wasn't any issue, or at least obvious to the outside. Even before Zach, like very much Grace was always like right there for her, but you never really heard her compliment Grace or give Grace her props. You've never seen her promote her comedy at all. Like there's so many things that it's like, I've seen a video recently where it was like Grace saying that she like tried to beat a guy up because he said something gross to Brie. I'm like, you never heard vice versa. Like it was always Grace riding really hard for Brie and then Brie being like, thanks.
But it's very clear that Brie feels like she's the reason for the fucking season. She's the reason everything happened. She was a gift to Grace. She got her that job and just feels like Grace owed her the world. And the problem with that is, number one, that's not a friendship. But also, number two, what she's going to be talking about for the majority of the rest of this podcast is their friendship in relation to her being in an abusive relationship with Zach. And I think that, as we mentioned, that changes a lot of shit. That's not a regular friendship dynamic. That wasn't a regular time for her, I bet, for either of you.
Well, that's the thing. She refuses to acknowledge anything from Grace's perspective. And she's like, it was a hard year for me. Well, Grace also lost her best friend to someone that was horrible to her, that then her best friend was staying with. I'm not saying it's easy to get out of an abusive relationship, but like, how do you think that's going to make your friend feel when they're begging you to leave and you're staying?
That's the important part to know is like Grace, by Briana's own admission, like hated Zach and really wanted her to leave. And so when they finally did like break up for a little bit and then get back together, that was probably a super defeating moment for her as well as a friend. If you've ever been friends with someone that's in such a toxic relationship, like it really sucks. Yeah. Especially when they're so secluded with that person. You just feel like it's not a selfish thing of like, oh, I just want to be with you. Like just hang out with me. Like what the fuck? No, it's like this person's in danger. And they don't understand that I care about them. And that's why I'm telling them that. It's not because I'm like a weird, jealous friend. I'm just like, I'm scared and they're not my friend anymore.
That's what pissed me off maybe the most about this entire podcast thing is when she starts being like, well, all my past boyfriends, it was like we were in a throuple. And she starts talking about Grace as if she's just this like really annoying inconvenience that was tagging along and like,
she literally says, I don't expect Grace to understand this because she's never dated anyone. Like she's never, but like, I don't think she would understand my perspective.
She's just being mean.
Yeah, no, literally. For most of this, she's being mean. Yeah. But this is like one of the bizarre things she says, because what she wanted Grace to do was basically ignore what was going on with Zach.
And just, again, like wait around, have no problem that her best friend just ditched her. And just like, she expects Grace to not have a life and just be on hold until she needs her again.
And this is like normal shit. Like friendships go through rifts and breakups and stuff like this. Like this happens every single day. And Grace's and I relationship, like while I was dating Zach, like that, these are two separate conversations. Like I would go to her and be like, but I feel like because you hate Zach so much, like you're forgetting to separate that I'm your best friend. Like you can, like, it's going to make me cry. Like you can hate him, but you can still like be there for me. And she never was. And
like she knew everything that I was going through, and she watched the internet like just harp onto it for a fucking year. And like this started in May. Like I went to her in May and I was like, Grace, like, you know everything that I'm going through, and you like, thank you. And you still like refuse to defend me online because it like helps build you up. And like she just would always be like, well, I know the truth. Everyone knows that we're best friends and like everything you've done for me. So I'm like, why don't you fucking say that online and like stop feeding into this narrative? Because I know it helped her and like it built her up and stuff. And like I was okay to sit back for a little bit.
What she's basically alleging is that the narrative, which again, I hate that it's being painted as that, because a group of people didn't just like watch your show and decide to fucking hate you one day. It was a collection of things and a collection of behavior that people interpreted as you being not a good friend and not necessarily a good person in a lot of circumstances. Yeah. It wasn't just like, oh, let's just hate Brie. That's not how the internet works. It works because people see patterns of behavior. And then, yes, is there a lot of ganging up and mob style kind of like ways that they deal with it? Sure. But they didn't do it randomly. They didn't just say, well, Grace is nice and Briana, fuck you. It was because you said and did so much shit that they just didn't like.
And not to mention, Grace saying anything wouldn't have changed it. Like, Grace coming out and being like, don't be mean to Briana. Like, that wouldn't have done anything. That would have just been like, Briana made her say that.
You know what? I don't even know that that's true. I do think that there's power in words and like you saying something. Obviously, that would have changed something, I feel. But
she also couldn't say anything about Zach and the abusive relationship, though, because that wasn't public.
That's a big element. But also, too, like when it comes to maybe just remove the Zach thing for 5 seconds, just their friendship alone, honestly, maybe she didn't say anything because she low-key kind of agrees.
I think like, that's 100% possible. It. She probably felt validated by finally seeing other people stick up for her because she's like, oh my God, I've been feeling like that and I felt I was crazy.
If there was a real circumstance, like there was a real drama of people thinking that like you hate me, right? Like genuinely, like you're preying on my downfall, it would not be hard for me to just be like, guys, like, I don't know where the fuck you got that. Like, you know, like we fought and stuff, but come the fuck on. Like, yeah. No, I think she didn't do it because she probably, like you said, felt validated and felt like shit. I mean, I've seen that for so many years and I've kind of just put up with it and been like, almost like Brie's lapdog. Yeah. Like, that's what Brie wants.
Exactly.
And she didn't want that anymore, which is totally reasonable.
And she's like, she was feeding the narrative. She just didn't defend you from the supposed narrative. She wasn't feeding it.
Which I agree. If you don't say anything and like you're visibly uncomfortable in various situations with her because they have a lot of tense moments on the show, then yeah, is that feeding into it? Maybe it's just like, it's not defending you though, is what it really is. It's not like she was like egging it on behind the scenes like you in the DMs.
Well, no, so. Right, exactly. I also am like, what exactly was she wanting her to defend? Like, what did she want her to say that was going to make it all better?
She wanted her to basically deny that the dynamic that they had was the dynamic that they had. That's what she wanted. And I think that when you have a friendship behind closed doors, it's not always easy to know if the feelings you're having are like in your head, like if you're making up shit, does this person really feel this way towards me? And I think that having it on such a large scale, so many people telling you, holy shit, she treats you like shit, she probably was rocked by that a little bit and was just like,
well, and I bet shit, she like, also maybe probably was like, maybe this will wake her up to like leave Zach because she'll realize that that's why she, like, I think that's another thing is like, I don't know anything about their inner dynamics and everything, but like maybe Grace didn't even have a problem with the way that Brie has treated her like their entire friendship, and it just was the Zach stuff that really put the pressure on their friendship because it stopped them from hanging out and they just like didn't have things to talk about anymore. But like, I wonder if she was hoping that Brie would see that that's the thing that is causing the issue. So it's like, if you want to get our friendship back, remove the issue. And she didn't. I don't know. I think it all probably blew out of control. And I don't think Grace sat there being like, Brie's getting hate.
I really don't think so.
I think Grace was probably hoping that Brie would see it and like get her shit together and realize that she was being a bad friend and stop.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the most plausible thing that could have happened. I think that her inventing this whole like evil plot is insane. Now they all go in on Grace for multiple times for posting, the Instagram stories. They're like, how could you? You knew what this was going to be, essentially. And this is her talking about that.
Of course, bomb, like obviously. But also, after I came forward with all the Zach shit, she didn't reach out to me. Do you want to know what she said to me? She texted me after that episode and said, I'm sure that was a weight off your shoulders. That's it. And my best friend of 15 years. So that's why I had to end the podcast in like, just so much deeper than fucking an Instagram story. Yeah. And if she cared about me or my friendship like she claims, or our team, then she would have called us or like reached out to them. And like to post that, it's like
I think she was hurt. I know it's a simple.
Well, it's clearly someone that's.
I'm hurt too.
Yeah,
though.
That's the thing.
But what about me?
Literally, that is the entire podcast. It's like, but me, I had a bad time. I was upset. Also, she did reach out. You just said that she did, and like that wasn't a bad thing to say. Like,
no, absolutely not. And especially if you're not on good terms.
Exactly. She was probably feeling awkward and thought that was a way to open up the conversation. But then you apparently dismissed it as being not reaching out. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. But also she's like missing the key component of the story. Like Grace felt really hurt by a lot of things, but by your Instagram stories first. You knew that people are constantly speculating on Reddit and your comments and Grace's comments. They are everywhere saying, is Plan Bri coming back? Like, are you guys still friends? And you think that being like, I want to be yapping again. Like, I want to do Plan Bri. That's going to start shit. You know that. And it's worse because it's like starting speculative shit where then people are going to roll with more things and it's going to be just drawn out and annoying. So like she had to say something. And at that point, she probably thought, okay, well, you're posting that. I don't think this joint statement is happening. So fuck you. I'm just going to post my own thing.
And she doesn't say anything bad about Bri.
No. She says that she loved what she got to do.
Exactly. Like, she doesn't say anything harsh or like call her fucking evil or manipulative. And it's like they act like she posted this just like heinous, horrible thing about her. And that's not what happened. Yeah. No. Did it spark a lot of people to probably post heinous, horrible things about Bri? Yeah. But like she started it.
Yeah. This is her talking about how her relationship with Zach Bryan fucked up all her friendships. But then simultaneously in this whole entire podcast is like, but why'd you let it fuck up our friendship?
Literally.
Like,
she's like, why couldn't you separate it? It's like, why couldn't she separate it from the person that you were with, constantly living with, and like had a house with and had a dog with? Like, are you kidding? That's asking a lot of someone.
Still friends with her. She just hated me because I was dating Zach. And like after it, I came forward. I said that I was like I apologized and admitted it publicly that I was like in this horrible relationship and it fucked all my friendships up and I lost myself and I treated people that I loved like they didn't matter. I didn't talk to my family. I didn't talk to my friends. Like,
so wait, but Grace is evil because she didn't want to be your friend after you treated her like she didn't matter. And you're literally admitting to that.
The cognitive dissonance is insane. Like she says this stuff and I'm like, so you admit you were a horrible friend. Like, why the fuck would she sit around waiting for you to just realize that you were being not even that you were in an abusive relationship, that you were being a horrible friend. You clearly are acknowledging it now, but then you aren't realizing that there are repercussions that come out of that.
You know what? Like after that, everyone that like fucking welcomed me back with open arms and is like, I'm here for you. I saw what you went through. Like it just showed me a lot.
So she's insinuating that that's like what showed her who was real in her life.
Exactly.
And
it's like,
well,
yeah,
really
you weren't
offensive.
as close with the other people and you probably didn't treat them the same way.
Or they're your family and are literally going to take a bunch of shit from you because they're your family.
But like they didn't feel as permanently discarded over a guy that Grace felt after you guys have been best friends since you were 10.
Now this, in my opinion, is the most heinous part of this podcast. When I heard this, my jaw was on the floor.
And after that, like the comparison to me to Zach is so hurtful and like insane. And in retrospect, I think regular people understand that. But like after she posted that story, I immediately texted her and said, you literally just did what Zach did to me. Like that's how we all felt. That's why.
Not her literally saying how horrible that was. For someone to say that about her, to then her immediately, without even skipping a beat, saying, and then I texted Grace and said that she was like that.
Do you know how I know she's full of shit? I have experienced people like Briana Chickenfry, and that sentence, that little part where she says, everybody thinks it, like everybody thinks the same thing. you are lying and you are manipulative. And if everyone thinks it is because you're fucking making everyone think that. And that is weird. And it makes sense why Grace doesn't talk to the team. So she goes on and on about like Grace and the team and she doesn't talk to any of them.
Why would she talk to the team?
It's all making sense.
When she knows that Bree is going to be in their
wrapped
ear.
around her finger.
Exactly. It's her, I mean, as she says, it's her show. So like, why would she try and go like, and she would probably be then called manipulative for trying to talk to them without Bree.
Oh my God, that literally was such a triggering thing to say. She literally did what Zach did to you. You mean emotionally abuse you for over a year and you've even hinted at possible physical abuse? Are you kidding me?
Okay, well also, if we go back to Bree's post about that she posted after Grace, where she was like, well, she knew the podcast was over. She was just blindsided by me saying this. Literally, that is what people are referring to. It's because you knew that you and Zach were broken up, but he blindsided you by going public with it. That is quite literally what you did. Like that is an exact comparison. Abuse aside, if he was just a normal boyfriend and he broke up with you and then posted the next day that you were broken up when you had agreed that you were going to do a joint statement, that is literally what you described for Grace. Like, what do you mean? And why is she now the person that blindsided you? She responded.
Well, I think that she is, because she deleted her Instagram story so quickly, she's like, didn't do it. What are you talking about? Like, I don't know if she's just like forgetting.
That was only the first one. She had posted those other ones. And you can't delete shit.
Yeah. And maybe, like you said, she's referring to the stories, not the relationship as a whole. I will say that verbiage is insane and you have to be careful.
Even if it was just the stories, that is what you did. So like,
I think that what she's in her head thinking up is like, oh, it's a long, it's like a whole long explanation. I didn't know that was coming and I didn't explain it like basically in that depth that I knew people would really read into. She thinks she just hit him with a one-liner like, I miss yapping on Plan Bree, like starting new, whatever. I think she thinks that was less harmful than the not even full explanation, because what Grace did wasn't a full explanation.
But I'm not even referring to that story, because remember after that, before Grace's thing, she had posted that she was looking for other bit like the Hinge thing and like I'm looking to revamp or restart Plan Bree in some capacity or whatever. That's why Grace posted.
Oh no, yeah, I just think that she thinks because Grace posted with so many more words than her that she was more harmful.
I do think it's interesting that throughout the whole podcast, they do like validate her and they're like, yeah, like they're not totally arguing with her at any point. But I did like that. I felt like they both did get a little uncomfortable, Josh and Dave. Also, side note, why the fuck this was the episode they decided to have that new girl on? I was driving me
I was
insane.
going to comment on it 1,000 times when she just weighed in there when she was like, yeah, that's not nice. I'm like, she doesn't even go here. Why is she talking?
They would cut away to her when she wasn't even saying anything. And I'm like, what?
And she
Why
looks
is she
like
still
Bree
here?
and it's very awkward.
Oh my God, no. In the whole
understand.
beginning, they're really shoving her down your throat to be like, she's so funny. And then she's like not even talking. And I'm like, okay, she might be, but like, why are you going so hard? Anyway, Josh and Dave clearly get a little uncomfortable at certain points because I think they can even tell that she's being very narcissistic and like all about her, not thinking about Grace at all. And Dave, I felt like really did actually kind of stand up for Grace several times and says that like, I just talked to Grace and I told her like whatever she wants to do, like I'll support her.
He made it very clear she has a spot at Barstool. They're developing a show with her.
Appreciated that.
Yeah, for sure. But this is Bree validating Grace's pain. She's going to do a great job, I'm sure.
This will be after she goes through and lists everything that she's ever done for Grace. I'm like, oh, so you've been keeping a tally. Got it.
Oh, you know those friends that keep literal journals.
I can't imagine what Grace felt. Oh, and this was also apparently they do come out the same day every week. But it came out the same day that Grace had like a sold out show that she was doing.
Oh,
I'm like, great, cool,
oh, God,
awesome.
I can't even imagine.
Of course she was hurt. Like, of course our friendship suffered from me being in an abusive relationship. And of course she was hurt and felt like I like I said, she was in all of my other relationships.
That's what I said.
So
she
like,
wasn't
of
even
course,
saying
this was like a completely new world. And like, she has never been in a relationship. So I just like kept giving her the grace of like, she'll come around. Like, I just don't think she's ever going to see it from like my standpoint of like what I went through. And I can completely validate that she felt like I fucking ditched her and I chose a boy over her. And I can totally understand her being so hurt and being so upset about that. But we patched all that up. We fixed all that. Like, we talked about this. We posted the videos of that on tour. Like, by the end of tour, she would finally talk to me because me and Zach broke up. So it was like, oh, we were back. And then
was there something that happened, Bree, at one point and I heard this happenstance.
Not him using words like I do. What
you,
does that even mean?
You
I
and
heard
Zach
this
had all the shit,
happenstance.
right?
Bitch,
Like,
even
I heard
know
it
that's
by
not right.
coincidence.
You guys broke up the first time, and it was like, okay, she kind of like patched everything up, but then it went back to like, well, I picked Zach again, and then she got pushed out, and she never recovered for the second time. Or am I making this up in my head?
No, like it was never pushed out. It was just we were dating again. So I was dating. Like we were still talking, texting every day. And then it just, I went to her again of like,
well, yeah, literally. So you mean she finally saw the light and was like, oh my God, she left this toxic, abusive man. And then you were like, just kidding. And she was supposed to just be right there waiting for you.
Literally, though. And not to mention, you know that when she probably left him the first time, that she was like, he's the worst. I can't believe I let him do this. And then she went back to him. That's a punch to the stomach for someone that finally hears that it's like, oh, thank God you finally are seeing the truth and you're like out of his grasp. And then you just go back to it. And she's supposed to just like wait until you do again.
Also, is it not like scary, literally? I mean, not scary, like I think she's gonna hurt someone, but like the way she switched when Dave even gives Grace like a little leeway, a little bit like of an out. She's like, no, we didn't stop dating. We just started dating again. And I'm like, so you stopped dating in between that? Got it. Okay.
No, literally. And
it's
like,
just very,
it gives
she
the
just
same
gets
energy
angry.
though as like her DMs where it's like, no, like,
yeah,
she's
evil.
very defensive.
She's horrible. And honestly, what I have to say about that is like, as someone who's, had a few friends try to convince everyone that I'm a horrible human being, I understand Grace a lot in this situation in the sense that like, all you can really do is just sit back and just hope that people do see your character, because people like Briana are just gonna like bark and bark and bark on the internet about it. And
she was showing her
really
character even separate from Grace. Like, I mean, some of it was what she was doing to Grace, but she said stuff that's got her in trouble completely separate from Grace. And I feel like she doesn't realize that. Like, she has showed her true colors several times. And
that's the thing. They always do.
Yeah.
They don't realize that it's not a one instance situation. People generally don't like people on the internet because of a group of things that they do.
Yeah. And you've been on the internet for a while now. They've grown to have opinions on lots of things that you've done. I remember one of the first things I ever saw about her was that boa situation at the Harry Styles concert where she like claimed, I guess
she
someone
stole the boa.
Did she? Yeah, she stole it.
We covered that on the show.
But then it never went up because we like couldn't find the video or something anymore. We cut it out. Yeah.
I thought we covered.
No, it never went up.
Period.
But I just remember
Not the forgotten
that this
episode.
video, she literally tells this stranger over a boa. How much do boas cost? $1? Like, it was a boa that everyone got, that it was like they were free or something at the concert. She told this stranger she hoped that she like got hit by a car. And I was like,
right,
that's really extreme over a boa. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Go on all night where I'll show you the pictures. She just ripped it off of me. Karen alert! Crazy fucking bitches! Crazy bitch right here! Crazy bitch! Craziest bitch I've ever met in my life. Yes.
Oh, honey, you haven't seen crazy yet.
What do you want to do? You want to fight?
It's funny how all day.
Are we gonna fight? Let's square up.
Or as it
Wanna square up? That's what it's looking like. You're a crazy fucking bitch. Hope you have a good night, you crazy fucking bitch. I'll just keep this going. This is perfect. I can't believe that. That's like the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I'll show you the pictures with her.
And I will show you my pictures.
Oh my God, let me see. I don't know why you would. I don't know.
Shut the fuck up. No. You're literally a crazy fucking person. Why would someone take a boa off of, like,
that's what I'm
how
wondering.
entitled are you that you think that I would take that off of your daughter?
Oh, how entitled are you?
You sound like a crazy person.
You're the one who's talking.
Yes, because you just ripped that off of my neck like a psychopath. You're a psychopath.
No, I think you are.
You're a fucking psychopath. Oh my God. I hope you get hit by a fucking car, you crazy bitch.
I can't even explain. I can't even explain. Also, if any of you guys, because I know I have to have at least one follower, someone that works at MSG, if anyone works at MSG and they have security camera footage of section 309, please, please, please. I'm literally gonna fucking kill someone. Okay, so anyways, if you work at MSG and you have security camera footage, please, please give it to me. So I'm leaving the concert and I've had 2 White Claws because I'm doing a brand deal, so I'm not trying to get fucked up. I'm leaving the concert, I'm with my boyfriend, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I'm like, babe, can you wait right here? and we find a bunch of boas on the ground. So I pick up and put a boa on my fucking shoulders because I'm at the hairstylist concert and there's a boa on the ground. So I'm waiting in line for the bathroom. It's a long line. And there's a mother and daughter in front of me. And they keep staring at me and looking at me. I was humbled real quick. I thought they were going to be like, oh my God, I love the podcast. Dumb bitch, fucking stupid fucking bitch. The mother turns around, looks at me, takes the boa off my neck, grabs it by both sides, pulls me forward. I'm like, oh my God. And that's when like fight or flight hit. I'm a crazy bitch. I'm like, okay, I'm down to fight regardless. I don't know what's going on, but I'm ready to fight you. So we start arguing. We're doing a tug of war of the fucking boa on my neck that I found on the ground. Okay, that I found on the ground. She's like, you stole my daughter's boa. I'm like, So then I just start lying. I'm like, bitch, I've had this on all night. What are you talking about? Her daughter's like about to cry. I feel so horrible for your daughter. Your mother's a stupid fucking bitch. Don't even get me started. I want to fucking kill her. You're also a stupid bitch. But anyways, so we start arguing or fighting. And then I'm like, oh my God, this is hilarious. Let me record this. And then I put it down. I can't even explain. I didn't even have O'Malley. I was by myself, bitch. I'm in this bathroom going ham, ready to kill this bitch by myself. She ripped this shit off my neck. In what world, okay, listen, in what world are we standing in line for a bathroom after the Harry Styles concert is over by myself? In what world am I stealing a boa off of this stupid bitch's neck and putting it on mine? In what world? In what world? I would honestly like to live in that world because it's fucking crazy and delusional. Oh my God. Oh my God. MSG, if you please, because there has to be someone that's watching this video that works at MSG. Can you please get the security footage of section 309? Please. Please. That woman deserves to get hit by a car.
But I remember thinking like that gave me kind of the like, whoa.
She's done a bunch of shit like that. She's gotten on TikTok and commented on like commented on situations that she should have not touched with a 10-foot pole. And she sounded so fucking dumb. And she's done that so many times. Like Grace is well liked because she hasn't done any of that shit. And when you do throw things her way, the way she handles it is really sweet. She seems like a nice person. Like I think that if you're, with Grace, someone could say, I think that when you see people, yes, it is a production. Like you're not seeing them like you would see them off camera, obviously. But at the same time, things seep through. When you've done that many episodes, when you sat on camera for that many hours, like nobody's gonna be able to fake it for that long. And I think that she hates that Grace is well liked because she's just nicer. Like she just fucking can't stand it.
I think that was the thing is as they kept going, both of them showed their true colors more. And people were like, oh, I really like the kind of person that Grace is. And they were like, I really am not liking the stuff that Brie has been doing. And then when all of this came of them together having issues, it just like blew up. But like, I watched this podcast and was like, oh my God. Like, what?
Yeah.
And how did you think this was a good idea? You really thought this would work in your favor?
Lots of questions.
The comments. Oh my God. Let me read a couple because.
Oh yeah, no, they're horrible. I just cannot imagine being that girl sitting down on her first day at the show.
Oh my God. The whole time I was like, why is she still there? Why didn't she leave? Like,
no, literally.
So
and they keep cutting to her for a prolonged period of time.
I know.
Like, please don't.
Oh, and she also has a merch drop that I guess was happening today and it's super weird. And it's like all about her and Zach's relationship, like the promo for it. Yeah, there's one's real classy to drop this the night that Grace has a huge show. Spending an entire episode gossiping, then comparing this whole situation to high school is insane. Grace is not responsible for people bullying you online. Honestly, don't even think Brie understands how much she is centering everything around herself here. Just because Brie had a hard year doesn't mean that Brie was the only person that faced hardships and needed support. Grace was likely left behind while Brie continued her relationship with ZB. Grace needed a friend too, and Brie was not there for Grace. If you cannot maintain your friendships while in a relationship, then you will likely lose them. Grace shouldn't have to wait around until Brie is ready to be a good friend again. I do get that Brie was in a really terrible relationship that clouded her judgment, but that truth doesn't mean that she can just treat Grace poorly and expect her to come running back.
Yeah, the thing is, for me, I understand that adult friendships in general are very difficult. Like for me, I feel like friendships are something I struggle with because there's not enough time in the day. And so that's why I get along with like a lot of moms and stuff because they just get it and everyone's busy and freaking out all the time. So I just think that if it was a situation of like Brie just dropped her and like didn't talk to her. Do I think Grace would have been hurt? Yeah, but I don't think that's all this is. I think that there was shit that happened, like genuinely hurtful stuff that was said, maybe in defense of Zach, or like something happened repeatedly for Grace to be like, fuck this, I can't do it.
One, if she's saying all this on a podcast just to
Right.
everyone
It
that's
must have been
listening,
bad.
what did she say exactly? And especially holding stuff over her head like, oh, I let you sleep on my couch. I gave you your career. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure she did all of that. And it sounds like that also kind of feeds into the stuff that Zach was yelling about, like, you're gonna never be anyone.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But also, Brie did post when this came out. She posted an Instagram story. It says, new episode out. I don't know where this tell-all came from, because that's what people have been calling it. She said, this is just simply a response because it was made public and you guys have been attacking me to talk about it. So of course it's everyone's fault. She just has to answer
God.
because she didn't do anything wrong. I stay silent, you're mad. I talk, you're mad. No win ever. Grace was also asked to do a sit down with Josh and Dave for this episode. She was invited to share her story. And guess what it ends with?
Hand hearts?
The hand heart.
Oh God. Fuck out of here. What the hell?
Like, why the fuck would Grace want to go on and like sit with your two co-hosts and like, no.
Someone
Are you kidding?
commented in the Patreon that they think that there's been a misunderstanding with our interpretation of the hand hearts. And I'm like, no, I don't think there has been. I think we got it.
No, this is a perfect example of why we have not misinterpreted it. One last comment says, how is Grace supposed to defend someone she doesn't even know anymore? Brie is a totally different person. Brie had the worst year ever? How about Grace? She checked herself into a mental hospital, her grandmother died, and she lost her best friend.
Oh my God.
Also, Dave and Josh being mad Grace brought it online. Brie brought it online first, and Grace's Instagram stories were a response to that. Grace stayed silent on so many things. Also, Brie brought Grace on Plan Brie because she was struggling to do the podcast by herself. Podcasts are easier with more than one person. Brie bringing Grace to Plan Brie benefited Brie. Grace helped her with her tour. Friendships end and that's okay, but take a little accountability.
Oh my God. Yeah, I did not know her grandma passed. That's a whole other layer. Jesus.
Literally, I had such a hard year. Yeah. So
You're
did
not the
she.
only
You
one.
were
Like
there
everyone
for
else
her.
lives in this shitty world. Like we're all fucking going through it. But God, I can't even imagine. They've been best friends since 10 years old. This has probably been the common theme in their whole entire friendship. It's Brie, and who she's dating and what she needs. And I don't blame her for leaving. Anyway, my God, I feel like every time we talk about Briana now, it's like so intense.
I know. Well, go send Grace love.
Yes. Grace, here's some Grace. She hears that
You
all
can
the
be
time,
our
you know.
friend. Hey girlies, it's me. There's not like a huge update, but just some more things that have went down. So I guess an update. But Grace has not technically responded, but she did incorporate the situation into her stand-up routine for her show the other night, and people were big fans.
Oh, yes. I'll start with sorry if I'm not myself tonight. I'm going through a divorce. It's a very common type of divorce with just a few minor differences. For example, it's not a marriage, it was a 15-year friendship. She's not keeping the house, she's keeping the podcast. And when it came to the kids, we took a very progressive approach. Instead of doing shared custody, we're letting the kids decide who they want to go with. I'm handling this the same way I think my father would if my parents could afford a divorce. I'm just kind of bottling my emotions and picking up the bottle, so. Let's go, boys. You didn't know it was going to be an interactive show, did you?
It's a classier response than I would have had to that podcast. So kudos to Grace. And then as for Brie, there hasn't been any other response that I'm aware of, except Dave has inserted himself a little bit more in this feud because there's now a bunch of stuff going around where people are basically accusing Dave of being in love with Brie. And obviously that's speculative. We can't say if that's true or not. But what we can say is that Dave is going real hard for Brie. Like real hard. But anyway, as you might know, Dave is the owner of Barstool. Is he the CEO? I don't know. He's the head of Barstool. And Barstool has quite a lot of other shows in addition to Plan Brie and BFFs. So apparently the hosts of one of those shows, which his name is Kirk, and I guess this is one of Barstool's like best performing podcasts. Kirk mentions that he thinks that Brie is a fraud because she didn't used to like Taylor Swift and now claims to be obsessed, which is a sentiment I've seen quite a bit online. But here's what he said.
Game Time Picks filters out this fluff for show you incredible deals on great seats. So you have to waste time searching through thousands of events. I think Briana Chickenfry got her Taylor Swift tickets through Game Time. Yes, there you go. For Barstool, I think she hated Taylor Swift in the past, people were saying.
Yeah, now she's a big fan.
Yeah. One of the great phonies of all time, Briana Chickenfry. She's one of the past she's got, no? Just an absolute fucking fraud who's playing Dave like a fiddle.
She was a victim.
Yes, she was. Code KMS for $20 for your first purchase at Game Time.
If you're familiar with Dave, you might also know that he's a huge Taylor Swift fan. So for some reason, this was like a deep cut, apparently. And he didn't react so, I would say well, but I'm going to say normally. Like, this is the weirdest reaction.
There's a video that's cut. And it's Blind Mike or somebody asking about how Briana Chickenfry went from hating Taylor Swift now to being the biggest Swiftie. Kirk's like, Brianna's a fraud. Brianna's a fraud, one of the biggest frauds of the planet.
Right.
This video is cut, makes it way to like all the people who hate Brianna on all her like socials, and they're like, see, even her own employees fucking think she's a fraud and hate her. So Brianna texts me, what the fuck's up with Kirk? I've never even fucking met this guy. I want to go on this show. I say, of all the things that I could recommend doing, it would be not getting in a fight with Kirk. I call Kirk.
I'm sorry. That's not that. I mean to interrupt. That's not inaccurate.
You sent a text.
You first texted me, and you said,
"Oh yeah, correct. I texted you.
You're a fucking piece of shit. You know, fucking
correct.
Well, hold on. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. Fuck you. Fuck you.
You can read it.
So I called. Yeah, whatever. So I actually called you, and I was like, you okay? Like, literally, what's going on? I'm in the car with my daughter. We're driving back from a college campus visit, and you're foaming at the mouth. You're like, you're
as mad as I've been in a long time.
I've never heard you that mad at anybody.
I was so mad.
You're a fucking cocksucker. You fucking suck. You're fucking useless. Fuck you. By the way, I have no idea at this time, no idea what you're talking about. You then hang up the phone on me, and I text you back, and I say, I'm going to say whatever I want. And you said, you're fired. And for about 10 minutes, I was driving in the upstate New York thinking, well, okay, like, we'll see what I can do next.
It wasn't 10 minutes, I don't think.
6 minutes.
Me and Mutt.
I was like, geez, I do wonder why I got fired. Like in the past, I've understood, the last time I understood why I got fired, I deserved it. So I was like, I called Dave back. And he was much calmer. And he said, you don't even know Briana Chickenfry. And I was like, okay, yeah. And he said, you called her the biggest fraud in the world over Taylor Swift, I think.
Well, no, I didn't know it was over Taylor Swift.
Okay, so you didn't know what you were talking about when you fired me.
Well, no, I saw a clip of you saying she's the biggest fraud on the planet.
You didn't know. So, but to fire, I will just say to fire me.
For 4 minutes.
If you had gone public and said, had a press conference and said, I'm firing Kirk Minahan because he called Briana Chickenfry a fraud, you would have got fucking barbecued and her life would have been way worse if that happened.
Yeah, I mean, it would be the Minifans would be coming after me for sure.
I think a lot of people would be coming after you.
I know Whitney felt this. I think a lot of people would have been like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like it
wasn't a real fire. I mean, it's 4 minutes.
You said you're fired.
Within 10 minutes, we were fine.
Dave, why are you so sensitive about Briana? Like, it's so different than any other employee ever.
But they are different. Every employee is different. The most hate you can get on the internet right now. I'm not saying rightly or wrongly. I think she's done things wrong. O'Malley had whatever. I'm not going to get into that. But then,
like, she has her own life. She's more successful. Congratulations.
It has
all that
nothing
stuff.
to do with that, though. Really.
Well, you said that in the conversations we had.
I was saying everything. I was screaming. Fine. Well, all right. Whit, you said you don't get it. Let me put it in analogy.
I just don't get how you are about it. Like you've
well, she's on a podcast.
You've been a stone cold killer with everyone for your entire existence on the internet, and all of a sudden now it's
that is not true. That is not. I like. There's certain people who everybody is treated differently, and I'm not saying weak or whatever. It's like we have a different relationship. This is somebody who's in a different world, and I'm telling you, I haven't seen anybody get this type of hate in 20 years of me doing this. So when she's dealing with it, this. Brie just turned down $12 million, all right? Yeah, and it's like she's trying to build her career up. And then within a week and a half, she's the most hated person. And somebody who's at the same company you've never met from the clouds is being like, she's the biggest fraud.
I just don't. I had a job before this where it started with saying, don't talk about this person. And then it became 50 things. I don't think that's going to be the case here with you. Like
I would hope not. I don't know that the only thing he's ever cared about. I feel like not talking about.
It's
but this and honestly, I've said it. This situation is different than anything I've dealt with. It's just a horrible thing.
Okay, so you know how you wrote on the YouTube? You wrote something on the YouTube. Like that's only gonna make do you think that's gonna make it stop?
I mean, you get the perception out there that seems like you're in the tank here. Like you do get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, I don't know anything. I'm just saying.
I think it'll all pass for her. I mean, she's very successful, right? She's got a big pod. She's like very well known. TikTok, social media, like it all goes past.
Ryan, I have never seen anybody get hate like this. It's crazy, and it's nuts. A long, consistent hate.
I don't even know what to say, what I can't say about this, but like there may be a reason for that. Like I just don't know. I'm just saying, like usually there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on there, but I think Dave maybe needs to reel it back because he's really only making it worse for both of them now. And I say that also because Reddit has been quick to point out that Bree does bear a striking resemblance to Dave's ex. I would say ex-wife, but I guess they're not divorced. It's a weird situation, but yeah. They do look eerily similar. So that is only fueling the narrative that apparently he's in love with her. And yeah, anyway, I think that's it. There'll probably be more in a coming episode, though, because this feels like it's not over just yet. But I guess it is for now. So back to us. Bye.
Okay, we love the internet. Okay, the caption of mine says, Grandma caved in too quick.
Just go get her stuff. Just come on, go get her stuff, Devaney. Come on.
And then the comments were like joking about how they would have already had her shit like packed behind them and just be like, oh, this? Okay, here you go. Bye.
Oh my God. Oh, she's so cute.
Amelie's like obsessed with us, so we can't have any sleepovers at Grandma's. But the day that happens, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Get out of here, girl.
Okay, this, I would just, like, the money I would pay to experience this.
Oh my God, what could it possibly be? So just a lot of dogs.
It's a golden retriever puppy.
Just one?
Yeah, but it's in a sleeping bag with him. It says trying to sleep in a van with a puppy.
Oh. Oh my God, the yawn. He's so cute.
Wait for it. Oh my God. Oh.
Oh my God. I would sleep so deep.
I would literally do anything.
Oh, he's leaving. No. No, he left at the end. That ruined my day.
Oh, wait. Was that it?
Yeah, he left at the end and then it restarted.
Well, for a while, he's just like laying on... I think there's more on that guy's account. Maybe I've seen other ones. That it's literally, he just like lays on top of him. Like directly on top of him. And I'm like, what I would do to have Max do that?
Mm-hmm.
Like he lays next to me and it's like the best day in the world.
Yeah. I love to cuddle with Amelie because Hershey doesn't cuddle. He'll just lay in between my legs. But it does eventually hurt your shoulder. Fun fact. You know, you have it like, she's like, Mama, you want to cuddle with me? I'm like, yeah, I do. I really do. And now when I go downstairs, the first thing she's going to tell me is like, Mama, I was sad for you because you went to work. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
You know, like you've met my sister's dog, little Reese.
Oh my God, of course. How could I forget?
She's the cutest. And she's like tiny. And she'll like get in any little crook or like, she'll cuddle with you. But she's so little. I feel like what I'm missing in my life is like, like I want like a bigger dog to cuddle me because it's like when they're like hugging you and stuff.
Yeah, my mom's dog cuddles like that. And it is like a weighted blanket. Like it feels like anxiety relieving. Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, we've been here for a hot minute, so we'll leave you with that. But you know, anyway.
Like if you have a dog I can cuddle with, please send him this way.
Oh, I don't think that we can facilitate that, but you know, we can look into it. Maybe you could rent one or something. I don't know.
That would be great. Anyway, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, if you guys made it to the end, we appreciate you very much. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. And as always, we will see you on Friday. Bye.
Don't buy any meme coins. The advice for today.